So, you think you've got what it takes to become a real estate agent? Well, the licensing exam, that's the final boss. And today, you get to test your skills. We've pulled 10 real questions straight from the #1 exam prep app, Estate Pass. So go ahead, grab a pen, keep score, and get ready. A passing grade is usually around 70%, so you're going to want to aim for at least 7 correct answers. All right, let's dive right in. Here comes question #1. The largest estate or ownership in real property is A, an estate at sufferance, B, an estate at will, C, a life estate, or D, a fee simple estate. Go ahead and think about that for a second. Okay, got your answer? The correct one is D, a fee simple estate. Now, a fee simple estate is the most absolute form of ownership you can possibly have. I mean, think about it. You've got the right to possess it, control it, enjoy it, sell it, lease it, the whole shebang. You can even pass it on to someone in your will. So the key takeaway here is super simple. Fee simple equals maximum rights. All right, time to test your math skills. And hey, don't worry, you can totally use a calculator for this. So, a house sells for $2.5 million. The commission check for the broker is $137,500. What percentage did that broker receive? Is it A, 5%, B, 5.5%, C, 6%, or D, 8.5%? Take a little extra time on this one if you need it. You got it? The correct answer is B, 5.50%. This is one of those calculations that's pretty straightforward, but you absolutely have to know it. You just divide the commission, which is the part, by the total sale price, the whole, and that gives you the rate. So you take $137,500 divided by $2,500,000 and you get 0.055, which of course is 5.5%. Okay, let's switch gears and move on to a state-specific rule. And these are so crucial because they can literally make or break your license renewal. For Arizona, how many hours of continuing education are required for license renewal? Is it A, 12 hours every year, B, 24 hours every 2 years, C, 30 hours every 2 years, or D, 18 hours every year? Go ahead and lock in your answer. The correct choice is B. And remember, every single state is different. That's why you have to know your local rules inside and out. For example, California's 45 hours every 4 years, and Texas is 18 hours every 2. It's just one of those critical details for keeping your license active. This next one on agency law is so important. You have to know who you owe your duties to. So a buyer's agent in New York owes the seller what? A, fiduciary duties, B, honest and fair dealing, C, confidentiality, or D, loyalty. I'll tell you, this one trips a lot of people up. The answer is B. So the key here is to understand the different levels of responsibility you have. Your main duty, your fiduciary duty, that's to your client, the buyer. That means you're putting their interests above all else. But you still have to be honest and fair with everyone else involved in the deal, and that includes the seller. Makes sense, right? Okay, you are going to see this phrase in a lot of contracts. In a Texas real estate contract, what does time is of the essence mean? Does it mean A, deadlines are just suggestions, B, deadlines have to be strictly followed, C, the closing date is flexible, or D, extensions are automatic? The answer here is B. If you see this in a contract, you have to know that missing a deadline could put the entire deal at risk. Seriously, there is zero wiggle room. It takes a suggested timeline and turns it into a hard and fast rule. A breach here could actually let the other party just walk away from the contract. All right, fair housing is absolutely non-negotiable. So, do you know Nevada's specific additions to the federal rules? Nevada's fair housing law adds which protected classes beyond what's already covered by federal law? Is it A, none, B, sexual orientation, gender identity, and ancestry, C, only age, or D, only marital status? Let's see if you got it right. This is a perfect example of why you've got to study both federal and your state-specific laws. The Federal Fair Housing Act, that sets the minimum standard, but a lot of states, like Nevada here, add even more protected classes to the list. Okay, let's switch gears and talk a little bit about how properties are valued. In which appraisal approach would the value for the land be calculated separately? Is it A, capitalization, B, gross rent multiplier, C, market comparison, or D, cost? The correct answer is D, the cost approach. This approach is absolutely perfect for unique properties. Think about things like schools or churches, where finding comparable sales is just really tough. The logic is simple. A property's value is whatever it would cost to replace it. It's basically a 3-step process. First, you value the land. Second, you add the cost to build the structure from scratch. And third, you subtract any depreciation. Whoa, this next scenario is a huge legal and ethical red flag. A broker who represents both the buyer and the seller in the same deal, but without the knowledge and consent of both parties, what is that called? Is it A, dual agency, B, undisclosed dual agency, C, designated agency, or D, transactional brokerage? The answer is B. Let me be clear, practicing undisclosed dual agency is one of the fastest ways to lose your license and get hit with a lawsuit. Now, dual agency itself can be legal in some states, but only with full written disclosure and consent from both sides. When it comes to agency, full disclosure is absolutely key. All right, here's a fun little vocabulary test. Have you ever heard of this one? What is a GOR? Is it A, a triangular-shaped parcel of land? B, a parcel that can't be developed? C, a stigmatized property, maybe where a murder happened? Or D, damaged property? The correct answer is A. Yeah, it's a cool, old-school surveyor's term that you might actually run into when you're looking at really complex property maps. It's just one of those little bits of jargon that proves you've really done your homework. Okay, here we are, the last question. This one's all about property rights and water. Riparian rights are best described as those rights. What? A, specifically granted for a specified time. B, found in the county records. C, an owner has from a natural water course. Or D, obtained by buying fixtures. What do you think? The final answer is C. Here's an easy way to remember this one. Think riparian and river. They both start with R. It's a core concept in property ownership that basically gives landowners whose property is next to a flowing body of water the right to use that water. All right, pencils down. Go ahead and tally up your score. How did you do? Remember, the goal on the real exam is about 70%, so if you got 7 or more correct, hey, you are in fantastic shape. And hey, if you got less than 7, do not worry about it. Seriously, this just shows you exactly what you need to focus on. The most important thing is turning those weak spots into strengths, and that just comes from consistent practice. And that's really where tools like the Estate Pass app become a total game changer. See, they don't just tell you if you're wrong, they actually use AI to explain why you're wrong, just like we did here. So you actually learn the concept, not just memorize an answer. So look, today's score is just a snapshot in time. The real question is, what's your study plan to get yourself truly exam ready? Thanks so much for joining me for this